Thank you all for joining us today.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So I'm Shaurya from the academics team of ISAB Greater Noida. Okay, to make this session more engaging and interactive, I would request everyone to please turn on their cameras. Kindly turn on your camera. So it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest, Professor Abhishek, who will be speaking on traits of good teacher and method of evaluation and assessment. He is a seasoned marketing expert with over 23 years of experience in academia, research, and social sector, a fellow in management from IIM Ahmedabad, and a master's from IRMA. Professor Abhishek has taught at top institutions like IIMA and is currently a professor at IMT Ghaziabad. His research spans marketing communication, e-commerce, digital platform, and consumer behavior, with a keen focus on the intersection of technology and public policy. His work has been published in leading international journals, and he has developed numerous cases and simulations used globally. So without further ado, I now hand over the session to Professor Abhishek. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Shaurya. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for confirmation. It's pleasure to be here and pleasure to be part of this FDP, and of course, Imperial School of Agribusiness is very dear to me. In fact, the founder, I have been known the founder for many years, and therefore I've been privileged to be part of how the whole institute has been set up, and therefore very happy to be associated with the institute. And so what, first let me share my screen just so that, just to check that everything's working out fine or not. And then I'll carry forward from here. So you all can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Now this is full screen, right? Full screen is visible? Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you so much, Shaurya, for your kind words about my introduction. And this is what the session is going to be today. Now, this session is about, see, I have been exposed to management process in terms of when I started doing my MBA at IRMA, which was in last century, that is before 2000. So I got exposed to some of the very excellent professors, and when I did my FPM at IIM Ahmedabad, there also I got exposed to excellent professors who had a passion for teaching. And whatever I'm going to share today is a reflection of whatever I've learned from them. They were very kind, very generous in sharing things about how does one achieve better perspective in terms of, and I could see their passion in terms of the way they put their heart in teaching, and that got reflected in their being assessed as a wonderful faculty members. So that's what I'm trying to do. This is what my effort is, to just put together everything, whatever experiences that I had, which I had over the years, listening to these great people, and whatever I was able to experiment, what worked out and what did not work out. What I thought that I'm just going to put them together and going to share all that in this presentation. So this is what I'm going to do. And this session has two very distinct parts, which is one is the traits of a good teacher, and second is methods of evaluation and assessment. So now, what I consider to be some of the things which actually help I could gather from my professors, and which I have seen, what I've been practicing, which has seen me get a recognition from my students as a good teacher. And so that's what I'm going to put. That's going to be the first part of the session. And the second part is about the methods of evaluation and assessment. In this, the idea is that while we try to evaluate what exactly are we trying to achieve, that is what we are going to talk about. And in both the sessions, I would request everybody to please be participative. Please feel free to ask questions. There's nothing nothing better than participant-centered learning. So we all learn from each other. Or you all have been faculty members. You all have a great experience, and I think there's a lot of there's a lot of that I can also, we all can learn from the each other's experiences also. So this is what I would request, that everybody please feel free to interject, stop me whenever you feel like, whenever you feel that probably this is the better way of doing things. Please intervene, and you can send a message and that on chat, and we can address that that message. Okay, so let's look at the first part of this session, which is about traits of good teacher. So when we talk about traits of good teacher, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just move from full screen to slightly because I need to take your inputs on this next part, because when you're talking about our job as a teacher, to ensure learning. So how do we ensure learning? And that is what I want to talk about. How do students learn? What do we do which makes students learn? So I want to hear from you, and I would like to note down some of the possible ways in which how do we ensure that students learn? What are the different ways in which we ensure that students learn? I think it's important to understand that before we move on to our next part. Who would like to really put a few thoughts on this? How do students learn? What do we do which ensure that students learn? Anybody would like to start, would like to make a comment? कोई भी कमेंट करना चाहेगा इस पे कि कैसे क्या क्या प्रोफेसर्स को क्या करना चाहिए जिससे कि वो स्टूडेंट्स की लर्निंग करा सकें?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good
Yeah, Dr.
afternoon.
Supriya, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, I think, sir, we have to engage the student in the class,
Okay.
like
How do you engage?
some case study.
So what you do is that you can use a case, right? So case is
Yes,
one
yes,
way. How do
yes,
learning
sir.
happen? Then case is one way in which the
Case
learning can
study.
happen. What else?
Yes, sir. So sometimes we also engage them, like whatever the lessons we are giving to them. Say in the marketing, like I'm teaching 4 P's of marketing.
Okay,
So
okay,
I'll just ask them that go and search some real examples, and
okay.
then they are vocal in the class and
So
they say,
you ask them to do observation visits, right?
yes, sir,
If I can,
observation method. Yes, exactly.
observation
Yes,
visits. Okay, very good.
observation. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Sometimes it also starts with some pre-test kind of thing. It also actually works in the class. Like
Okay.
anything that I'm teaching, like my subject is pure theoretical, so in that sense I know that student have some sort of knowledge they already possess. So in that sense I just take a quick test, like what are their knowledge, and then I'll start
Okay,
my
so you
lecture.
also have
Yes,
test. Okay,
yes,
well, I'll talk about test in little later in more detail. But
yes, sir.
let's look at what are things which with which we generally try to impart learning to the students. Case is there, observation visit is there. Somebody else would like to say something?
Actual doing.
Actual doing. What do you mean? हाँ सुहास जी बताइए. Actual doing से क्या मतलब है?
By demonstration.
Demonstration. Excellent. Demonstration of what? Like, can you give me some example?
Example, how to do something in a better way.
No, so किसी टॉपिक को पढ़ाते हुए आपने डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन किया, वो एग्जांपल आप दे सकते हैं?
अच्छा अच्छा
I
जैसे
hope
मान
everybody is
लीजिए
comfortable with
ड्राफ्टिंग
Hindi
बडिंग
also, no?
कैसे करना है.
I hope everybody is comfortable with little bit of Hindi also. I think
Yes,
just
sir.
बडिंग
Yes, sir.
ड्राफ्टिंग प्रोसीजर.
yeah, let's see. हाँ बताइए सुहास
बडिंग
जी.
और ड्राफ्टिंग प्रोसीजर.
Okay, so demonstration of so agriculture practice के लिए आपने बोला.
Yes,
ठीक
yes,
है,
yes.
very good, excellent. What else? और क्या करते हैं क्लास में हम? कैसे उनकी लर्निंग कराते हैं? एक तो केस हो गया, ऑब्जर्वेशन विजिट हो गया, टेस्ट हो गया, डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन हो गया, और क्या करते हैं क्लास में?
सर
बहुत कुछ करते हैं हम लोग.
हेलो
Sir, we
सर
can
हाँ
promote.
चंदन जी बताइए.
जी सर connect the study material with the real life experience. We can always give example from the real life through which
रियल
we
लाइफ एग्जाम्पल. ओके,
जी
ऐसा लिख
through
दें, ऐसे
which
रियल लाइफ एग्जाम्पल.
जी सर real life examples and
Okay.
gamifying the experience of the students.
Excellent. Gamification of basically I just write gamification.
Classrooms study
Gamification
classroom
करते थे.
teaching. जी
Gamification
सर
of teaching. right?
Okay.
वेरी गुड,
Okay.
वेरी गुड, एक्सेलेंट. सो आप उसमें बेसिकली इसमें आप गेम्स भी करते हैं, इसमें आप एक्सरसाइजेस भी करते हैं, राइट?
Yes, sir.
ओके, ओके. और क्या करते हैं? या डॉक्टर अभीश, आप बता बोलने वाले थे कुछ?
थैंक यू सर. सर मेरा मतलब एक थोड़ा सा ये था कि एक तो ये है कि मतलब अगर बच्चों को क्लास में एंगेज करना है तो सबसे पहले वी हैव टू गिव रीजन फॉर लर्निंग, राइट सर? मतलब वी
ओके.
नीड टू गिव रीजन कि व्हाई दे आर इन द क्लास एंड व्हाई दे शुड लर्न, है ना? एंड देन एज फार एज मेथड इज कंसर्न, देन ऑफ कोर्स एज मेनी पीपल
Yeah,
हैव
the tools or
सजेस्टेड.
methods. That's I'm
या
right now.
या
I'm interested
सो
in methods and tools only.
so sir, beside all these things that we have discussed, group discussion may be one another thing,
Group
like
discussion. Okay, very good. Group
yes,
discussion होता है. और
and
क्या होता
activity
है?
based something, like
एक्टिविटी तो वही हो गया ना, गेमिफिकेशन, गेम्स,
जी
एक्सरसाइज, वो
जी
एक्टिविटी ही हो गई, वो सारी
जी
सारी एक्टिविटी हो गई. ओके, व्हाट एल्स?
The role playing can also be there.
Role play, excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Role play is a very important part of the process. बहुत सारे
Yes.
प्रोफेसर रोल प्ले कराते हैं. हाँ,
हम्म,
एक्सेलेंट, एक्सेलेंट. डॉक्टर मेहुल, आपने बोला क्या?
Yes, sir.
एक्सेलेंट, एक्सेलेंट,
Since I
एक्सेलेंट.
am from HR domain,
हाँ हाँ
I
हाँ
could
हाँ.
easily
या
correlate
या
with it.
या या एब्सोल्युटली, एब्सोल्युटली. रोल प्ले. और क्या कराते हैं? और क्या कराते हैं? और क्या कराते हैं हम लोग? बहुत कुछ कराते हैं,
simulation
इसके अलावा भी बहुत कुछ कराते हैं हम लोग क्लास
like
में.
simulation exercises sir,
सिमुलेशन कराते
brainstorming.
हैं, वेरी गुड,
जी,
सिमुलेशन. और क्या कराते हैं? अब सी, ये सब जो मैं लिख रहा हूँ ना, ये प्रेजेंटेशन बाद में आपको, आप लोग को भेज दूंगा. सो आई मीन, आई विल शेयर विद शौर्या एंड ही विल शेयर विद. सो डोंट वरी, एवरीथिंग विल गो बैक टू यू, डोंट वरी ऑन दैट.
thank you sir.
और क्या कराते हैं? और कुछ कराते हैं? और भी बहुत कुछ कराते हैं
Sir,
क्लास में, हम लोग और भी
एक
बहुत
सर
कुछ कराते हैं.
एक
हाँ
प्रैक्टिस हम लोग करते हैं सर क्लास में, बच्चों से ही जो प्रेजेंटेशन कराते हैं, मतलब
हाँ, वेरी गुड.
स्टूडेंट से.
प्रेजेंटेशन कराते हैं.
जी,
हाँ,
बच्चों से. जी जी. तो
फिर उनसे असाइनमेंट कराते हैं,
यस सर.
उनसे प्रोजेक्ट कराते हैं,
जी,
इंडस्ट्रियल टूर कराते हैं.
ट्रू सर.
और क्या कराते हैं? और भी बहुत कुछ कराते हैं. आई जस्ट बहुत सारी चीजें
sir,
कराते हैं.
sir, through storytelling or
स्टोरी
inspirational
टेलिंग करते
stories,
हैं, वो
we
रियल
can
लाइफ एग्जांपल्स
motivate
में
them.
आ जाएगा वो. रियल
Hmm.
लाइफ एग्जांपल में स्टोरी टेलिंग भी होती है. हाँ, ओके. चलिए, फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ आवर सेशन, आई थिंक दिस
सर
इज गुड इनफ.
एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड
हाँ,
प्रैक्टिकल.
बताइए अंकित जी.
सर एग्रीकल्चर में सर फील्ड में प्रैक्टिकल भी कराते हैं.
हाँ हाँ, तो डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन, डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन या प्रैक्टिकल. डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन पहले लिखा हुआ है,
ओ
प्रैक्टिकल,
यस.
राइट? डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन आपने करके दिखाया, और दूसरा है कि आप साइट पे ले जाके आपने बोला कि चलो अब
Yes, sir.
ऐसे करना है. गुड, गुड इनफ. आई थिंक फॉर द टाइमिंग, आई थिंक दिस इज अ गुड इनफ लिस्ट. पर हम इतनी सारी चीजें क्यों कराते हैं? why do we have to why do we have to use so many different types of I mean, why can't we just use, I think आप में से किसी ने नहीं बोला, जो सबसे ज्यादा आप लोग इस्तेमाल करते हैं वो है लेक्चर,
Lecture
राइट?
method.
लेक्चर्स, वो तो किसी ने बोला ही नहीं. लेक्चर के अलावा हम लोग इतनी सारी और भी चीजें इस्तेमाल करते हैं, क्यों?
Sir, because the learners are diverse and they have different learning
Learners are
styles.
diverse. Excellent. Learners are diverse. Absolutely right, Mehul ji. Learners are diverse. And they have
And their
different learning styles.
learning style is different.
And they have different learning styles. So there's a very famous typology of learning styles, which is called the Honey and Mumford style of learning styles, typology of learning styles. I don't know how many of you have heard about this. Honey and Mumford style of typology of learning styles. Now, when we talk about this, we use so many different things because there are so many different learning styles. But what these two gentlemen did in 1986 was that they came up with that majorly the learning style can be broadly categorized in 4 categories. And they say that this is the generally, well, there can be of course further subdivisions on this, but broadly these are the 4 major typology of learning. So what were those 4 major learning styles? So first was this. I'm just showing first what are then, and then I'll give you the names also. Okay. Then this style, what is happening is that the person now has the objective of learning to swim. And what this person is doing? Person just jumping into water and trying to learn to swim. Okay. Now, person has not read any, did not get any lecture, did not get into any sort of observation how to do it, just gets into it and tries to see that how does it work out. Now, this is like I mean, person is thrown in the deep end, and then with they just grapple with the whatever is the problem and solve the problem and try to learn. This is one particular learning style. This is what we call as an activist learning style. You are activist, that is you do by doing the activity. Okay, who learn by doing. These are the people who learn by doing. So this is one particular learning style. Okay. And there's another learning style which is very simple to understand. If you look at this, this person has jumped in the first figure. What is the second person doing?
Observation.
Standing beside and observing. Standing beside next to the pool and see that how people are actually swimming. Now this style is called this type of style is called reflector. Person reflects and tries to understand that how does this thing work? Let me try to understand by reflecting on this. So they first stand back and observe that what exactly is happening, and then they spend some time thinking about it, and then they get into they review what has happened, and then they say, okay, now we are ready to get into doing it. This is one style. Second style. So this is called, first was activist, second was reflector, and third is, let's look at this third style. What is this person doing? Trying to read books on how to swim. What this person, so must be trying to see that if I lift my hand by a certain angle, what is going to be the water displaced, and therefore how much longer I can actually move forward. They're trying to understand the theory of swimming. What is the theory of swimming? And these people are called theorists. So activist, reflector, and now theorist. Theorists are the people who want to understand the theory behind the actions. Okay, so they need to understand is what is this model, what is this concept, what is this, what are the facts before I get and jump into the water. I need to understand all. So everything has to be understood very clearly before I get into how this thing works. Now they try to look things in a very structured situation, that okay, and in that and in that process they also question and probe and try to understand that is this really going to work out, and this is something which they say that they have this thing, that this is something which is going to help me navigate even a complex problem, because if I understand the theory behind that, I can even if a problem is a complex problem, I will be able to navigate beyond this problem. And the fourth one is, now look at this picture. What do you see? What is this person doing? Person is ready to take the plunge, but how this person is taking the plunge? With all the necessary gear in place. So also wearing a fin and the legs, and then they have the rubber around the body, and then also put a something on the mouth which will ensure that even if they go inside the water, they'll be able to breathe and not drown. They are called pragmatist. So activist, reflector, and then we had the theorist, and then now we are talking about the pragmatist. Pragmatist are keen to try out things, but then they'll they they are not, they're not very they just don't the way they don't work the way the action activists work. They want to get into this mode by doing a more thorough understanding of how and they want to do, but we try to do with a feedback from the expert. Somebody should be doing that hand holding, and they would like to copy and look at example how it is done, and then they will try to bring that into their now when we are talking about these four, जब हम चारों स्टाइल की बात करते हैं, एक्टिविस्ट की, and then we talk about the reflector, and then the theorist, and then the pragmatist, which one is, इसमें से कौन सबसे ज्यादा appropriate है मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन के लिए? क्या लगता है आपको, कौन सा ज्यादा अप्रोप्रिएट है मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन के लिए? या बताइए, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन के लिए कौन ज्यादा अप्रोप्रिएट है?
So selecting one of them would be we are doing injustice because we have diverse learners in the batch.
We have diverse learners, absolutely, absolutely.
Because learning by
Mehul ji,
doing something-
absolutely right. And therefore, what we talk about is that the learner goes through this cycle. The cycle is that sometimes they are activist mode, sometimes in reflector mode, sometimes in a theorist mode, and sometimes in a pragmatist mode. And we as a teacher, हमें ये देखना है कि कौन सा मोड है which is the right for covering certain topics, really, which mode is the most appropriate, which is the what, see, one is that understanding that कि इनकी जो learning style, what is the learning style that they are in. So कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे होते हैं जहाँ पे आप उनको देखोगे, उनको लगेगा कि आप उनको थ्योरी पढ़ा रहे हो, एंड दे विल से दैट ये सब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा। उनको इसलिए नहीं समझ में आ रहा है क्योंकि दे आर नॉट, दे डू नॉट बिलोंग टू दिस कैटेगरी ऑफ थ्योरिस्ट। दे आर मोर इन द कैटेगरी ऑफ एक्टिविस्ट और प्रैग्मेटिस्ट। उनको कुछ काम करने को दे दो, दे विल बी वेरी हैप्पी। वो प्रोजेक्ट अच्छे से करेंगे और बहुत बढ़िया करेंगे। वही अगर उनको आप बुक पढ़ने को दे दोगे तो बोलेंगे ये क्या पढ़ने को दे दिया। Why I'm talking about is this, that see, I'm a professor of marketing, and हम marketing में बोलते हैं कि marketing starts by understanding the customers. Similarly, if we are going to be a good teacher, if we really aim to be a good teacher, we must first understand कि हमारा student जो है वो किस learning style को prefer करता है। वो once we get that understanding that what is the learning style that the student prefers, then we are in a better position to जो हमने यहाँ पे जो बात की, इधर जो इतने सारे ऑप्शंस की बात की, ऐसा नहीं है कि सारे ऑप्शन सब जगह है इस्तेमाल होंगे, लेकिन किस जगह कौन से ऑप्शन इस्तेमाल होने हैं, देन यू नो कि अगर वो इफ द स्टूडेंट इज मोर ऑफ ए in that reflector mode, then we need to put that student into observation visits. Okay, then there has to be industrial tour, has to be on so इस तरह की चीजें ज्यादा होंगी. So depending upon what is the learning style, majority or dominant learning style of the class, we need to moderate our I hope I'm making it is coming up clearly, right? Okay. Now, given that this are your understanding of the but irrespective of this understanding, there's something which is common across whatever we do. Whatever we do, and this is what I call as what is the objective of a teacher. Every teacher has one simple objective, and when they go into the class, their objective is to make a student cash rich. So हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि अच्छी जॉब लगेगी तो कैश होगा, कैश मिलेगा, अच्छी जॉब मिलेगी, अच्छी सैलरी मिलेगी, कैश मिलेगा। तो उसी का एडाप्टेशन है काश। किसी ने सुना इस टर्म के बारे में, काश?
Yes, sir.
या बताइए।
Knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits.
Habits. This is exactly what it is. What is meant by knowledge? What is meant by knowledge? Knowledge का क्या मतलब होता है? नॉलेज के बारे में सब लोग जानते हैं। नॉलेज, what do you mean by knowledge?
This is what
Rank
this
with a
is what
role.
the normal examination pattern tries to assess the
हाँ, हाँ।
grades and marks.
हाँ। नहीं, बट what are we trying to give knowledge about? हम स्टूडेंट्स को जब बोलते हैं कि उनको cash rich बनाना है, तो what is the knowledge that we are talking about?
Sir, basically we are trying to, like clarify some sort of concept, facts,
Very good,
or,
very good.
like maybe some sort of theories, है ना sir? So when
So
we use the
basically,
term
we talk
knowledge,
about three
yeah,
things:
yeah.
concepts, techniques, and facts. So knowledge किसकी होनी चाहिए? उनको concept की knowledge होनी चाहिए, उनको technique की knowledge होनी चाहिए, उनको fact की knowledge होनी चाहिए. ये तीन चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर आपके पास नॉलेज है तो नॉलेज किस चीज की है? नॉलेज इज अबाउट जो ब्रॉड नॉलेज जो होती है वो हम इन तीन चीजों की बात करते हैं. आपके पास कॉन्सेप्ट की नॉलेज होनी चाहिए, आपके पास टेक्निक की नॉलेज होनी चाहिए और आपके पास फैक्ट्स की नॉलेज होना चाहिए. क्योंकि इसके बिना आप आगे बढ़ ही नहीं सकते हो अगर आपने बेस लेवल पे ये नहीं किया. एंड दैट इज द रोल ऑफ लेक्चर्स कम इन, कि जहां पे आप इनको मतलब कि इन चीज को हाईलाइट करते हो कि अच्छा योर कॉन्सेप्ट, टेक्निक्स एंड सम फैक्ट्स शुड बी वेल नोन टू एवरीबॉडी. Okay, then we come to the second aspect, which is called attitude. I'll come to attitude little later. Okay, let me first talk about something called skill. Okay, what do you mean by skill? What is meant by skill? What is meant by skill?
Sir, skills, I mean, ability to perform something in efficient way, sir.
How to do it?
Yeah, yeah.
Skill is simply about how to do it.
Mm.
Absolutely right. How to perform a activity, how to do it. Now, how to do it is something which is which can be very specific to the domain, or it could be something very general also. अगर एग्रीकल्चर साइंस में बात करें तो मतलब कि जैसे शुरू में किसी ने एग्जांपल दिया कि ग्राफ्टिंग करके दिखाते हैं. ग्राफ्टिंग इज अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक स्किल. अगर वो आपने जब तक आप करोगे नहीं तब तो आपको आ नहीं सकता. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि आप मतलब देख लो और सोचो कि अच्छा ये तो मुझे आ गया. ऐसा नहीं होता. तो when you do it, you know how you learn that skill. Now this is a very domain specific. There can be some skills which can be general skills. What could be general skills? General skill जो हम कोशिश करते हैं स्टूडेंट को सिखाने की, वो होता है कि भाई एक कम्युनिकेशन स्किल होनी चाहिए आपके पास. Communication skill is a very common skill. Up, irrespective of the field in which you are in, communication skill is very important. Communication skill has to be understood by everybody. It could be a skill in communication. It could be also about active listening skill, or maybe जब कोई feedback दे रहा है तो how you're listening to that and getting at you. It could be about skill in problem solving and decision making. So these are what we call as general skills. Okay, so skills and the category of what is called the domain specific skill and what is called a general skills, both are important aspects. Third is I would call is attitude. What is attitude? We say that कि इसका attitude बहुत अच्छा है, ये बहुत बढ़िया करेगा, उसका attitude बहुत अच्छा है. But we are also saying that we are also going to let students have very good attitude. What is meant by attitude here?
Sir, attitude means positive or negative thinking, our positive or negative
Okay,
thinking towards any objects or any persons or anything.
okay, that's one way of looking at. What else? Anybody else would like to make any comment?
It's a kind of feeling that the individual is having about something, sir.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So see, attitude is that when you see in attitude in very simple words, it's called disposition. I mean, what is your disposition? Now, this disposition, as somebody said, it could be positive or negative. But what we are talking about disposition with respect to what they are learning. Now, what they are learning is about the subject, and therefore, when we talk about management, a very important aspect is with respect to decision making. हम एग्री मैनेजमेंट कोर्स में पढ़ाते हैं ना, हम लोग सब लोग एग्री मैनेजमेंट कोर्स में उनको बता रहे हैं कि भाई आप इफ यू आर गोइंग टू बी एग्री स्टूडेंट इज गोइंग टू बी प्रोफेशनल एग्री मैनेजमेंट बिजनेस, हाउ डू यू टेक डिसीजंस? सो दैट एटीट्यूड ऑफ टेकिंग डिसीजन is a very important aspect, and that is where the case studies become very important, that you are, or role play becomes very important, that you have to play the role of that decision maker and take a call on what needs to be done. That's where you when you do it when you do this again and again, in terms of taking a decision, then you develop an attitude towards taking decision. You are not afraid to take in taking decisions. This is the value of what the IIM Ahmedabad students get, that they do these multiple cases, and then that's how they learn they are not afraid to take decisions, because that is something which they develop the attitude for. Their disposition for decision making is very high. Whether that decision turns out to be good decision or bad decision is irrelevant, but they are not afraid to take decisions, and that sometimes becomes more crucial than sitting over a situation and not taking a decision. Okay, so that's what attitude. The fourth is habit. Habit is something which is what we call as, once you internalize the skills and attitude, then it becomes part of your habit. The moment you see this, you don't tend to go in any other direction. You tend to behave in a certain manner. For example, I have taught at IIM Ahmedabad. I have taught at, I have been teaching at IMT Ghaziabad. What happens in a class is that when we go to the class, the students have come to the class being prepared. If they are not prepared, we just ask them to leave the class. I used to do that. In fact, I go there as a visiting faculty even now at IIM Ahmedabad, even though I've joined IMT Ghaziabad. And this year I was in January, I was in class there. And the students have come to the class without having read the case. I said that class can't happen. Class got cancelled. A class again happened at 10 p.m. in the night because they had not read the case. Now, so when I do that, they know that this is a habit. They get into this habit, that do it again and again and again. And they know that there's no escaping away from this. The professor is not going to allow that to happen. There's some confusion because of which it happened. And then the moment they realize that the professor is not going to allow that to happen, they get into this habit. And then they do it again and again and again. It becomes part of their habit. This is what I mean. I remember I went to a conference and at 9 a.m. my track was there at 9 a.m. There I see that there were just two people who were standing there. One was me, and there was another somebody else who was there. And we found that we have a common connection. The common connection is that I was a student of IRMA, and he was earlier ex-faculty of IRMA. Because that has become so ingrained, thanks to Dr. Kurian, who was the chairman of IRMA, who would never not tolerate a single second delay. If it is not, it has to start at 9, it has to start at 9. So it has become our habit. Whenever we go there, it is part of our, whenever we have to go anywhere, it is part of our habit that we have to reach there by time. It is never late, neither early. So that has become unclear. So our job as a teacher is to ensure that we make students cash rich. Cash rich in the sense that they have good understanding of knowledge, they have good understanding of attitude, and they have the right attitude, they have the right skills, and they internalize their skills and attitudes. Once that happens, then we say that the students are cash rich. How do we do that? How do we do that? And that is where this is where I'm going to talk about from my personal experience. What I have been talking about is that what we have read and what we have practiced. But this, what next part that I'm going to talk about is my practical experience. What are the basic requisites from our side? And this is what I've found, that this is something which works very well for us. One thing which I always take care is that first is what is called attitude for learning. I, as a teacher, in spite of having read multiple books, I'm never shy away from reading more books. For example, I teach a course called Integrated Marketing Communication. And see, I have been teaching this course. I have worked in this field. I'm in touch with some of the best minds in Indian advertising industry. They are like family members to me, and we talk to them on regular basis. They share with me what is happening, how it's happening, and they're just like family. And in spite of that, every time I teach this course, I make it a plan. I'm going to read a new book before the course commences. That is my way of ensuring that I learned something new before I go to the class. So this attitude for learning from our side has to be there, and that is what this, I just follow this dictum. The more I read, the more I acquire, the more certain I am that I know nothing. I believe with this dictum, that, and this is not just for IMC course. Every course that I teach, I ensure that I will ensure that before the course commences, Even though I may be teaching that course for 10 years, 15 years, I will ensure that I will always read a new book on the topic. Even though my course plan, class plan, everything is done, everything is ready, but I'll read a new book so that I bring something new in the, because otherwise, I mean, while I may make the students cash rich, I will become a cash poor. I will not have that. So many of the things which I'm talking about in the class, some of them have become irrelevant, and I keep on repeating those old things. Then my students are not going to take it very positively. So I have to keep on reinventing myself, and that is where this comes. This attitude for learning becomes very handy. I mean, my professors whom I've seen, I could see in their faces they had this passion for teaching. Passion for teaching is that they just want to ensure that they just forget everything else, but they just think in terms of how do I ensure that if these students are supposed to know something, they will, and they just do not work with this thing that okay, while we do work with the timeline of the class, but then they always ensure that if somebody needs a support, they're always available for that support. And this is what a good teacher is someone who teaches not with the mind, not only with the mind but with the heart. I've seen many professors during my IRMA days, during my IMA days, and even at where I teach at IMT. Good teachers always teach with heart. They are never shy of making that extra effort not in terms of learning, but ensuring that the students have that exposure, and maybe giving time outside the class also to ensure that the students are well versed with what they. This is something uh, which is something good teachers always do. They don't do, they teach with their heart. I can think of so many nice professors, and uh, when they start teaching, they just forget that they're in class. They're in a very different realm. They are in a very जैसे हम लोग हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कि समा बन जाता है. They create that समा, and वो इन्वॉल्वमेंट इतनी हो जाती है कि स्टूडेंट्स भी बोलते हैं कि ये तो बस चलता रहे, ये छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. The third thing which works very well is two things. One is that they are see, this is one advice which I got. I was doing my PhD, and जब मैं PhD करके मैंने IIM अहमदाबाद से PhD किया, फिर मैंने वहीं एज ए फैकल्टी ज्वाइन किया, तो मेरे जो प्रोफेसर थे वही मेरे कलीग बन गए. So they were very kind to me. They were very kind to me, and a few of them said, and this is one advice I've always followed, that Abhishek, whenever you go in class, one of the professors told me that be sure of one thing, that you must know your subject matter very well. There should not be any confusion related to subject matter. So so that's what I said, that current body of knowledge has to be absolutely good. आपको कोई कंफ्यूज नहीं कर सकता, आपको क्लास में कोई कंफ्यूज नहीं करने का होना चाहिए. इसलिए इसका तरीका यही कि आपकी करेंट बॉडी ऑफ नॉलेज एकदम बढ़िया होनी चाहिए, और इसके लिए आपको एफर्ट तो करना पड़ेगा. अगेन, लिंक इट विद द फर्स्ट वन, एटीट्यूड फॉर लर्निंग. The more I read, the more I acquire, the more certain I am that I know nothing. So this is where it comes in, that आपको अपने आप को attitude for learning अगर रखेंगे, then you will have this current body of knowledge, and it will also be about updating with latest knowledge. See, I teach a course called mobile marketing, and as I have also taught a course on e-commerce. I've also taught a course on this digital marketing. And people say that, why don't you teach this course? We need faculty. We need people. I said I can teach. I can teach course on social media marketing. I can teach course on e-commerce. I can teach course on digital marketing. But I prefer to teach only one course, which is mobile marketing. I say that I cannot teach these 4 courses because it is just not, given the fast change with which the things are changing, it is just not possible for me to be updated with subject matter on the 4 topics. I can only keep myself updated on one topic, and that is what I do. I keep myself updated with latest knowledge on mobile marketing, and therefore I teach only one course. So as a professor, I need to be very, so therefore I continue to get a feedback of 9.8, 9.85 out of 10. And that only happens because I tell them what is latest which is happening in the field. The students come to me and tell me after the class, sir, इस सेशन में बहुत मजा आया क्योंकि ये लेटेस्ट क्या हो रहा है ये पता चल गया हमें. Now, see, in courses like technology, जहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी का रेलेवेंस आ जाता है तो उसमें इस तरह बहुत, बट प्रैक्टिस, जब मैनेजमेंट इज अ फील्ड वेयर इट्स हाईली ड्रिवन बाय प्रैक्टिस, तो प्रैक्टिस, आप जब प्रैक्टिस में नहीं समझेंगे लेटेस्ट प्रैक्टिस में क्या हो रहा है, हाउ विल यू ब्रिंग दैट इन द क्लास? इसके लिए इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट you just do not know only your current body of knowledge, but you also know what is the new things which are coming up in the market, and how do you ensure that I incorporate all that in my session plan. So now this is a basic requisite, and now I'm going to talk about two things. What I do before the class and what I do after the class. Okay, this is something again based on my experience, what the way I do things, and I found them to be very useful, and this is something I would recommend all of you to also take it. So what I do before the class, I'm very clear about the objective of the class. What do I want the students to learn after the class finish? I'm very clear on this. So there's a course objective, that's very clear. You have those 3-4 points which are there as course objective, what is called the course outcome. Sometimes as per NEP, it is called course outcome. That is course specific. But for me, every class I have to set a very clear objective, that what I want the students to know after they come out of the class. So this is the starting point. And once I've done, then I do what is called the preparation and organizing for the class, which is generally I prepare only one-page document. This is what I am going to. This is what I divide the class into 4 or 5 pastures. That I am going to talk about these 4 or 5 things, this is what the detail that I am going to get into. I prepare that plan before the class starts. Now in this plan, there I always plan for, and this is something advice which I got, and I found that advice to be very, very useful, is that Abhishek, if you have somebody told me, one of my professors told me that, Abhishek, if you have a class for 75 minutes, plan for at least 120 minutes. Ideally, you should plan for 150 minutes. अगर 75 मिनट की क्लास है तो 150 मिनट की क्लास आप तैयार करके आइए. आइडियली कम से कम आपको 120 मिनट तो जरूरी तैयार करना चाहिए. क्यों करना चाहिए? इट विल बी वेरी क्लियर टू यू. क्योंकि यू शुड नेवर अंडर एस्टिमेट योर स्टूडेंट्स. आप जो तैयारी करके आते हो सकता है स्टूडेंट को उसके बारे में ज्यादा मालूम है, या फिर स्टूडेंट जो है आजकल चैट जीपीटी का इस्तेमाल करके उनको मालूम है कि इसमें क्या हो रहा है. द मोमेंट यू से ये वो खोज लेते हैं, अपने मोबाइल पे खोज लेते हैं या लैपटॉप खोल के खोज लेते हैं, बोलते हैं कि अच्छा अब तो हमें इसके बारे में कुछ पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. So this is something मतलब as an instructor I found that कि हमेशा it happened with me. मैंने एक केस लिखा था, एक ट्रेड प्रमोशंस इन रूरल मार्केट. वो मैंने एक बार करवाया, पीजीपी क्लास में करवाया. बेसिक कैलकुलेशन करने में 75 मिनट लग गए. I went with the same case in a MDP program, और वो चूंकि वही काम करते थे, उन्होंने 5 मिनट में सारा कर लिया कैलकुलेशन. अब बाकी 70 मिनट क्या करूंगा? 70 मिनट मेरे लिए, but I was prepared. I knew what I have to. I knew what is more that I have to do. So because I was prepared for those extra 175 minutes, so even though they finished this in 5 minutes, मेरे पास वो extra काफी buffer था. So इसमें क्या होता है कि आपकी क्लास जो है ना कभी स्लो नहीं होती है. You have to, if you say that I have to cover 5-6 topics, अब मेरे पास क्लास का टाइमिंग है, तो क्लास जब फास्ट होती है ना तो फिर स्टूडेंट्स को भी, सो क्लास हैज टू बी सीन लाइक ए मनमोहन देसाई मूवी. मनमोहन देसाई की मूवी आप लोगों ने देखी होगी ना, अमर अकबर एंथोनी, कुली, नसीब वगैरह वगैरह. उसमें हर एक 10 मिनट में सीन चेंज हो जाता है. तो जब तक आप पिछली सीन समझोगे तब तक नया सीन आ गया. तो क्लास में भी आपको ऐसी, यू हैव टू आल्सो इन्वॉल्व द स्टूडेंट्स इन द सेम मैनर कि अगर क्लास चल रही है तो उनको लगना, बिफोर दे स्टार्ट गेटिंग बोर्ड विद अ पर्टिकुलर पास्चर, यू हैव टू मूव टू नेक्स्ट पास्चर. तो वो तभी हो सकता है जब आपके पास, अगर आपने 4-5 सोचा और हर एक में 10-10 मिनट लग गया, तो आप सोचोगे कि थोड़ा एक्सटेंड करो, थोड़ा 10 मिनट के 15 मिनट कर लो, तो एक्सटेंड होने लगता है, तो क्लास में बोरियत होने लगती है. जब वही आप सोचोगे कि मेरे पास 10 टॉपिक है और आपको जल्दी जल्दी करना है, देन यू स्टार्ट मूविंग क्लास इन ए फास्ट में. अगर क्लास में फीडबैक आता है तो डेफिनेटली आप उसको थोड़ा स्लो कीजिए, बट जब आप पेस सही रखते हैं तो उसमें लोगों की बोरियत नहीं होती है. So इसलिए when I say that plan for extended period means that you plan in a way so that the class doesn't become slow. Class is fast enough to capture to ensure that the student attention span is not getting now that's where I this is something which we discussed in the beginning. आप लोग सब कुछ इस्तेमाल करते हैं, क्यों करते हैं? Because now we are clear ना, it is because there are different learning styles. There are different learning styles, and therefore we also need to ensure that there are different we combine all of them together. Now, one thing which I found very useful, and whenever I am teaching a course which is to be taught in multiple sections or and उसमें other faculty है, always collaborate with other instructors. अभी मैं एक कोर्स कराता हूँ केस लर्निंग के ऊपर, एंड जब नए फैकल्टी कोई ज्वाइन करते हैं तो वो मेरे से आके पूछते हैं कि मैं उनको बोलता हूँ कि इफ़ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड प्लीज़ ज्वाइन दी टीम। जब वो देखते हैं पूरा प्लान देखते हैं कि क्या क्या करना है हर एक सेशन, दे आर सो हैप्पी कि सर ये बहुत बढ़िया आपने बनाया है। मैं बोलता हूँ कि मैंने नहीं बनाया है, हम सब ने मिलकर बनाया है। जो एग्जिस्टिंग फैकल्टी हु ऑल हैव बीन इन्वॉल्व, एवरीबॉडी हैज कंट्रीब्यूटेड एंड देयरफॉर इट हैज कम अप वेरी वेल। जो मेरे पास 4 आइडिया थे, किसी और के पास 3 आइडिया थे, किसी और के पास 2 आइडिया थे, और तो वो सब मिला जुला करके जो 15-20 आइडिया जो मिल के बन गए वो इतना बढ़िया हो गया। सो दैट इज व्हाट मेक्स दी सो if you can do that whenever you have opportunity to collaborate with other instructors who are teaching same subject in some other section, please do that. It's a wonderful opportunity to elevate the level of your class. आपकी क्लास का लेवल अलग हो जाता है जब आप 2 लोग या 3 लोग या 4 लोग मिल करके क्लास पढ़ाते हैं, डिस्कस करके, पहले क्लास के पहले अगर डिस्कस करते। सी जितने भी अच्छे स्कूल्स हैं, अच्छे बिजनेस स्कूल्स हैं, वहाँ पे होता है। हार्वर्ड में ये होता है, हम IIM अहमदाबाद में हम लोग क्या करते थे, यहाँ IIMT गाजियाबाद में भी हम लोग करते हैं। बिफोर द कोर्स स्टार्ट्स हम लोग एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बना करके उसमें वो करते हैं। क्लास में क्या होता है उसमें हम लोग शेयर भी करते हैं कि आज क्लास में ये हुआ, तो others also know कि उनके क्लास में भी ऐसा हो सकता है। So they are prepared. If something unexpected happens, which is somebody asks a question about which you may not have the answer, we post it there. So this type of collaboration is always very beneficial in terms of making the class delivery wonderful. There are certain things which we do after the class also. One of the first things that which we always do is that class will always have few things which would be interesting, which you may not have thought. People may ask you questions, people may raise points which may not be which you may not have thought. After I come back from the class, first thing I do is I just make notes of those class discussions. जो ऐसी चीज जो मैंने नहीं सोची, मैंने नहीं बोली, और वो स्टूडेंट्स ने रेज की, आई जस्ट मेक, बिकॉज दिस सर्व्स एज ए फीडबैक फॉर योर नेक्स्ट ईयर क्लास, या नेक्स्ट जब भी आप सेशन लोगे तो उसमें आपको बहुत यूजफुल रहता है। आप एक साल बाद सोचोगे क्या हुआ तो आप भूल जाओगे, आपको कुछ भी याद नहीं रहेगा। लेकिन अगर आप वही चीज अगर आपने नोट कर लिया तो अगले साल जब वो नोट्स उठा के देखोगे कि क्या क्या मुझे पढ़ाया गया था, देन इट बिकम्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू। Again, class will have this type of situation when you may not have the answer to the unanswered, so you have to look for that, make notes, so that next time when it happens it becomes very useful for you to just go back to these notes and answer. And again, this is something which I would say collaborating with the instructors. And we talked about the learning style reflectors. Reflector is that you reflect on this, you observe and reflect. Now this is something which is very handy in the post class reflection also. As an instructor, we need to come together and discuss that क्या हुआ class में आज, क्या अच्छा हुआ, क्या अच्छा नहीं हुआ. That is why I say that even if you have like something like WhatsApp group where you can come together and talk with the instructors, ये हुआ आज class में, इस subject में ये हुआ. For example, I can show you that in my phone there are different groups for different year for different courses, because I don't teach alone, I also teach with others. So we have to have SAM, and those notes actually help us to plan for next years. And there's always incremental thing which makes it better and work. Apart from this, these are something which I have found to be very, very useful. As a faculty, we must respect others as human beings, as students. And I got so much respect from my professors, even when I was a student. They never treated me like I'm a student and therefore I am anyway inferior to them. Good professors always treat others as good human beings, and they give a lot of respect. The moment you start giving them respect, they also give you respect. Okay, the moment you start treating them as friends, the relationship becomes very transactional. The moment I give a lot of respect to my students, and I will always call them in the class as, can I request you to do this? The moment I say this, there's a moral obligation on their side key. No, we have to do, a request has been made. The moment I get into that mode ki, you have to do it. Then they say, oh, this is something activity which I have to do, and this is something, a burden which I have to complete. So respect begets respect, and that is what. And there have been times I have been like, I have spent like 15, 20, 25 minutes. If the person has queries and question, I always, and sometimes these queries do not get settled in class, but we have to settle outside class. But then it earns you a lot of respect. If you are able to handle students' queries, whatever be the nature of query, you may feel that the person is me raising that's for the sake of raising question, or the person is very, very stubborn and therefore is not able to. You have to handle it. Maybe the question have to be taken outside the class, but you have to ensure that the moment you start doing it, the word of mouth spreads. The student will go out and say that no, this professor is a great professor, never shies away from answering my. Again, this also comes from the fact that what we talked about earlier, that in terms of your what we say, that you are masters of the subject matter. When you're masters of subject matter, you will be able to handle any queries. So these are all linked. I mean, they are not operating in silos. The third thing is that caring for students and their career. We may not be able to help them in the placement process. That's not in our. But can we give them empathetic hearing about what they want to do? How can we be of any help? I mean, one of the things which I when I joined IIM Ahmedabad as faculty was that one of the things which I was told is that while the professors are very strict in the class, they are very careful about that. The first and most important objective of a teacher is to take care of the welfare of the students. Welfare of the student is a very broad word, but then it encompasses many things. So it is not just about their overall academic welfare, but it's also about their if there's something happening in their personal life, then that also needs to be addressed. So if you care for students and their career, you understand and you emphasize with them, and that also gets reflected in pitching the thing to the student at the right level. Now, if you're not careful about, you may try to post something, ask a very difficult, I mean, keep on saying that why you are not doing. But if you don't know what is happening in their life, and then that's not going to be very productive. So we have been told, and this is what I pursue always, that whatever we do, the welfare of the student is of paramount importance. Now, this is again, I do that, making oneself available beyond class hours. So this is something which is we find that I mean, when my promotion query was happening, and my the appraisal committee asked me, what is your greatest contribution? I said that my greatest contribution is that students go on to win this case competition, and whenever they win this case competition, they always say that thanks to Professor Abhishek, because I have an open door policy. My doors are always open. Whenever students feel like that they have anything to talk about, they come and talk to me. So if you have those, so my doors are always open. I keep my doors open and I never close my doors. So they're always open. So anybody who wants to walk in, you can come in and walk in and talk to me and address any type of query that you want to. if we are doing all this, these are all linked together, and they all lead to establishing our credentials as a good teacher. This is where I will stop. Any questions till this point of time? Anybody has any question, any observations that you would like to talk about, or share something which they disagree, or totally disagree, or agree? Again, this is something which this is not something which you'll find in any book. This is what I felt as a teacher. This is what has made me establish myself as a good teacher. I get a good feedback. Students are also happy with me, and I found that this is what I follow. This is what I follow. This is what works, and this is what makes me work as a good teacher. If nobody has any query, then we move forward. But Shaurya, how are we doing with time? I think
Yes, sir. If you
I'll have to rush now, huh?
Yes, sir. You have to rush now. It's already
Okay.
5
Can I
o'clock.
take around 5-7 minutes more?
Yeah, sure. You can take, sir.
Okay, 5-7 minutes. I have to also go at 5:15 for some data collection, so
Sure.
I have to also finish within the next 10 minutes. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So okay. So this is see, I just wanted to talk about that. What are we trying to evaluate? So what is the objective evaluation? And that's where we talk what we call as 4 levels of evaluation. I think some of you may have heard about this. What is called the Kirkpatrick evaluation. 4 levels of evaluation: reaction, learning, behavior, and results. You have heard about it? Dr. Ravish is giving a very
Yes, sir.
positive. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have read
It's
Yeah.
a very famous training evaluation
Very famous.
model.
It's well known. Now, what do in when we do with students? What exactly is the level at which we are evaluating? You have done it. So, what is the level at which we are? So let's I mean the what we do not get into evaluating their behavior and results. Reaction is something which is immediate, which happens immediately after the class gets over. So if class gets over, students come and talk to you and say, sir, wonderful class, or बहुत अच्छा हुआ, या sir ये चीज कैसे हुआ, ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा. You get to know that what happened in the class. That's reaction part. You don't evaluate reaction. Behavior is something which is I mean, this is something what they apply in the job. Okay, and result is that because of their application, what is the impact that's created in the organization? Again, you cannot check for that. You cannot evaluate that. Okay, in MDP programs, yes, it is possible to check for that. But in an MBA program or agri management wale, yeah, usme aap, only thing that you can evaluate is learning. We have to be very clear. What we are learning, what we are evaluation is on for the learning. Learning is that what is the increase in what we talk in terms of knowledge, concepts, concepts, techniques, and facts. वो जो base था उससे वो ऊपर गया कि that's so our job as an instructor is to check. Evaluation is on the for the learnings. Now this is what now this is what it is all about, that resulting increase in knowledge on and or skills and change in attitude of the participant. This is what we are trying to check. Now how do we test for this? How do we check for this? Generally it can be tested during program immediately, but most importantly, what I consider to be very important part of this is that should reflect the effort put by students in imbibing the learning. We have to be, how do we do that? How do we do that? How do we ensure that it reflects the efforts put by students in imbibing learning? And therefore, this is what I try to do, and this is what I found to be very useful, is that the questions have to be chosen in a way that some questions should be answerable by everybody. So everybody should get some marks. See, because why I do like this, I'll also explain to you. And some questions should be somebody who is above average or at average level should be able to do. And 1 or 2 questions should be something which is at a high level. I mean, only the best student should be able to answer. So your questions, because when you look at a class will always, whatever the class, and I'm telling you this, I've taught at multiple places in India and outside India also, class invariably falls into what is called this normality curve. Some of the students are very bad, 10 to 15%, 10 to 15% are very good. The rest of them falls in the middle. Now, for very bad, you can't do anything. There probably a selection error has happened or whatever happened. They are in the class, and therefore you have to show that they are also. No, but you cannot give them very good marks. So your some basic question is that everybody gets that, and therefore they are also in that process of the average questions is that for the middle of the class. The average questions will not be answerable by those 10 to 15% who are not interested in the class. So those who are able to do that, they are able to do well in that. Now those 15 to 20% are really cream of the class. They have put a lot of effort to understand what is happening in the subject, and therefore they need to be rewarded. But if everybody is able to answer that, then there is no distinction between them and others. So therefore, that difficult question, 1 or 2 difficult question has to be there, which is going to ensure that that only the best student can answer, and they get rewarded, and they are seen as the topper of the class. That is how the so this is what evaluation should reflect, the effort put by students. That is what it now. What I found to be very useful is that, again, in the I always write my evaluation that this is what I'm trying to evaluate, and before in the course outline itself, I write that this is what is objective evaluation, and I also give them all that breakup. This is how this marks will be given, all that, especially for projects and assignments. I have a scheme of continuous involvement, so it's not like just one end term. So there will be a number of quizzes, number of as multiple submissions. Even in a project, there will be a couple of submissions. So that makes their continuous involvement. Of course, as a teacher, we have to be also involved. But then that ensures that the learning is continuous, and I also plan for multiple components. So it's not just I'm just going to have only exam or only quiz, or one exam and one quiz. I'll have CP, I'll have project, I'll have assignment. So it makes our job little difficult, but then the learning process is very, very complete. They are involved throughout the course. It's not just coming to the class at the last moment and trying to. So Shaurya, I will stop here. I have a few other slides, but I think I'll just stop here because that may take a little bit more, and I have to also. Is it okay? I'll share these slides with you, Shaurya, so you can later on pass on with the participants, right? Okay, yeah. So I'll stop here.
Sir, before Shaurya sir conclude, I'd like to say something. Sir,
Yeah,
thank you
sure.
so much. Thank you so much, sir. It was like very soothing to listen you, and I was able to connect some of my experiences with your, insights, sir. So thank you so much, sir. It was really, like great to listen.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words, Dr. Avish. Okay. So I'll have to leave. If there are any comments, please pass on to the ISP team, and I will definitely revert. You can send your email ID and anything. My email ID is, of course, it's available on IMT website. You can reach out to me if anybody wants to reach out and discuss on anything. Please feel free to do so. Okay, I'll have to leave. Please excuse me because I have a data collection at 5:15, and my PhD student is waiting outside.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your invaluable expertise, sir.
Thank you. Chali. Okay,
thank you.
Bye.
And thank you everyone for your active participation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We look forward to seeing you at our next session, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Okay, have
Thank
a
you,
great
sir.
day. Thank you.